Call the meeting in order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
We have an addition to the agenda today. We have a 67-day public health nurse, C42, step 4. Add that to the consent. Any other additions or corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved with the addition.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approve the previous minutes from the board meeting, June 25th. Everybody has a chance to read those. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Go on to public comment. Anybody would like to make a public comment? Rick?
Morning.
Morning. You can sit down, state your name.
My name is Kimber Frank.
Okay.
I'm Rick Frank.
Yep.
I know, a couple weeks ago, this is my granddaughter here, and, I'm here, both her parents are working, so they couldn't get off work, so I told her I'd.
And you're retired, right?
Yes, I'm retired. I got tired.
He's tired.
Hey, maybe you want to come back, huh?
I know. I'm having too much fun. Anyway, we had an incident with the county here, a few weeks back here. It was an accident that, happened to her car, and I'll let her kind of explain what all happened here and why we're here. So you want to go ahead?
So I'm Kimber Frank. I'm a college student at Winona State, and I am working 4 jobs just to pay for tuition for that. And on my way home from one job, I passed a county mower, and he hit a rock, and it went through my window and it shattered it. And I was on my way home to get changed for another job. So what I did was I pulled over, and I didn't really know how to stop him because I don't think he knew it happened. So I just took pictures of the mower, and then I went home to my mom, and my mom told me to call my dad. So both me and her called my dad, and my dad told me to go to the Houston County Highway Department. So I went up there and I talked to Sheila Schrader, and I gave my statement on what had happened. And then she just said that she would take that information and that a person from the insurance would be calling me. And they called me the next day and told me that they were not going to cover it because they cannot predict when things are going to happen like this.
Was this your front windshield or?
It was my back passenger window.
Okay.
So what we did was, we contacted, Greg, and he had instructed us to go get a couple of estimates on just to see what it, was. So her and I did get 2 estimates following that, and we turned them into the county. We feel, like I said, it was an accident. It was a county, mower that ended up hitting a rock and going through a windshield. So we just kind of felt, or we do feel that the county should have some liability and responsibility to purchase the window and put it back in.
Okay.
We're not, what you see there, we're not looking to go brand new or anything. It's used. And like I said, we just soon get the window fixed right away here. So like I said, she's got to get back to Winona, and then I don't like to see her running around with a window that's taped up either.
Okay,
We will
How much was the use?
three,
About 350.
351.
we'll take it under advisement and we can't do nothing right now today. This is public comment, so
Sure. Would you gonna make the decision today or?
we can have a discussion more about it.
I think we can come up with a consensus without a vote.
Right.
Let's see.
Okay,
I
I
guess
appreciate your
the best way to do it.
give us time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, we'll move on to appointments. We're gonna have a closed session. We'll save that to the end of the meeting if everybody's in agreement with that. The consent agenda is on up next. With the addition to hiring the 67-day temp public health nurse, is that correct? Okay. Is there any questions on the consent? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent? Number one is to reassign Mark Bennett to his currently deputy auditor treasurer to probationary. Appraiser trainee effective 7/15. It's a lateral move. Approve initiating a search for a full-time deputy auditor treasurer. Number three, hire Patricia Getzinger Crawl as probationary 1O jailer dispatcher, step 7. Hire Sarah Ostern as probationary 1O jail dispatcher B23 step 1. And then the hire of Sydney Gilbert as a 67-day public health nurse, C42 step 4.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, move on to consider resolution number 2420, final acceptance of CP 2024-09 contract 072 with Sir Lines a Lot for paving marking symbols. Total cost of was $61,031.
Yeah, so this is the paving contract for the symbols, crosswalks, stop bars and stuff within the municipalities of La Crescent and Caledonia. So as you may recall, MnDOT is striping all of our roadway center lines and fog lines this year. So Sir Lines a Lot did epoxy coating on all the crosswalks and stop bars. It has been holding up really, really good. We've been happy to see the results of it. Sir Lines a Lot did a good job, so we'd like to get this project closed out.
So the cost that we're looking at here is just for the crosswalks and the turn arrows and what
Yeah.
have you in that regard.
Yes.
That must be mostly in the Crescent then.
Yeah, there's a lot more in La Crescent because they have a lot more crosswalks, all the bike symbols, arrows. Yeah,
There is bike symbols, just not a bike lane. There-
They had bike lane.
yeah, there's bike lanes and stuff.
There's a
and then
bike
the
lane on
symbols.
Yeah, but the one going by Quick Trip is just a bike symbol, but it now lane.
Correct. Yep.
The County 6, when you go down Elm Street, that's got the striped lane.
Yep. So Elm Street has the bike lanes. Yeah.
Elm Street.
And this met up with what it was supposed to be as far as the estimate of bids.
Yes. Slight minor differences. There is one intersection with the crosswalk symbols that weren't on the plan, and then 24-inch stop line was just a little bit different on the length. We actually measured it up afterwards. So 3 feet longer.
It's your recommendation to approve?
Yes.
I'll move to approve.
Here, second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Resolution approved. Number 2, discuss repairs to Spring Grove Salt Shed and consider approving the replacement of the main cover if denied by MCIT.
Yeah, so over in Spring Grove, our hoop shed was built back in the early 2000s. As we were filling it with some salt and salt sand mix material this year, one of our operators, so the hoop shed in Spring Grove, you have, well, can't go in Caledonia, our hoop shed, we have concrete walls, and then the hoop shed starts on the outside of the wall and kind of goes up. So the truss support system for the fabric cover is pretty high up by the wall. I don't know if it's up in that 15-18 foot range. At Spring Grove, we have the wall and the hoop is built right on top of the wall. So that structure starts coming in right away. As our operator was loading up our hoop shed this year, one of our newer operators, he was backing up. The equipment was tight to the front end loader was tight to the concrete wall. Lift his bucket around to get a little bit more maneuverability, and didn't realize that his bucket was right next to one of the support trusses. So when he hit that truss, and it bent not only that one, 5 sections of trusses, plus the connecting brace got bent. So ultimately, we submitted a claim to MCIT for insurance to replace those 10 trusses along with some cross bracing that's required to do that repair. The estimated repair for that work is $58,950, and that is for the replace these truss sections. In order to do that, you take the fabric cover off, replace the sections, put the cover back on. Well, dealing with working with Structures Unlimited, which is the company that's builds a lot of these structures around the state. We're having the conversation with them, and the fabric cover has essentially got to the end of its original design life, and they have a lot of concern that when they go to install that, put that old cover back on, it's going to rip as they go to tension it down. They said it, there's a slight possibility that it won't, but it already has been stretched, and they figure it's a good chance it's going to rip. So we submitted the claim to MCIT, told them, it's a good chance we're going to pay for the labor to put it on. Once it's going to rip, they're going to take it back off, put on a new cover, have double the labor to do that. And MCIT has agreed to pay for roughly 30% of the $14,450 for the cover replacement. They took off $10,000 of that. So if we want to put a new cover on, it's going to cost county $10,000, and we a new cover with a 20-year warranty, or such a 20-year manufacturer warranty on that, versus putting the old cover back on, which will be covered by MCIT. So my request today is to have MCIT pay for the damage part that's covered by insurance, and then have the county pick up an additional $10,000 to put a new cover on. So I want to get approval of that today.
So they'll pay for the trusses?
They will pay for, yes, the trusses. They will actually pay for us to take that material out of the shed and put it back in. So we're going to have some labor that way. It's going to be submitted as well. So that way they can do the work, because they can't do it when it's filled up with sand and salt. So MCIT is covering that stuff as part of the insurance, but they will not pay for the new cover fully.
So basically you're talking 10,000.
Yes.
And the insurance will pay for the rest.
Yes.
And it was 58,000,
Well, minus the deductible, which is
2,500,
I think it's 2,500.
because the total bill is 58,950, right?
Yes.
That's
50
without the cover.
That is without the cover, yes, then add to cover another 14,450. So MCAT will pick up 60,900. And then from that, they will also pick up some cost of our own county staff and labor and equipment used to move the material in and out.
So it's full now, or no?
It is about half full.
So
We're anticipating about 2 days worth of moving material in and out,
Pull it
so
all out and then,
we're gonna we think we're gonna be able to keep maybe about half what's in there in the shed. The other half's gonna come out. Whatever comes out, we might need to either haul away or cover out with a new tarp. We probably have $8,000 worth of moving material around to it'll be covered by them as well.
So they'll cover that labor moving stuff.
Yep.
So for $10,000 of our money, the new trusses will be put up and a new cover going on.
Yes.
And we've had this current one for close to 20 years. Said early 2000.
Yeah, I believe I was gonna look up this morning when I was in the office. I believe it was built in 2001. So I know it's beyond the 15 years.
new cover's probably heavier, isn't it?
Yeah, the original cover had a 15-year warranty. The new one has 20-year. So it is designed for a longer life. It is they're telling us that it is a better product than what the original one was. And it has worked really good for us. The rest of the trusses are in good shape. I don't see any reason why we don't want to fix it and continue to use it. We should get a lot of life left out of the new one. So
So it's a 55-foot long building, right?
55-foot wide.
Wide. Oh, what's the length on that?
I can look it up, but it's maybe 80 feet.
How much? 80?
That just a guess. I can measure it on.
I was just curious.
I see the improvement to it, getting a new cover, replacing the damaged trusses. And out of pocket is 10,000. You know, anytime we mess with something that's been stretched and faded and sunbaked, I'm sure it'll be brittle. We've got our possible useful life out of it, being they guaranteed it for 15, and it's going beyond that. I think it'd be a behoove us to do it the right way while we're doing it.
I'm showing the current one's about 120 feet long.
Money? Well, it's the cheapest way to do it. We don't have to
Don't.
get a new building for $10,000.
I think it's a good move. I moved to authorize the payment or placing the new roof on the repaired trusses and the whole building.
And I assume the operator knows it better next time.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we've had some plenty of conversations.
Accidents happen.
We learned from this.
Keys, as long as we don't have more accidents.
Yeah, we have had a sit down discussion on.
And this is a double truss too, right? Double. It's got two pipes.
Yes.
Yep, not a single, right?
Correct.
What do you guys think?
That was a motion.
That was a motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's a
Motion's been
motion.
made. Is there a second? Second. Any
One question.
further discussion? Bob?
So for 58,950, they're covering all of that, less the $2,500 deductible.
Yes.
And then on the 14,450,
They're going to cover
they're gonna cover
$4,450.
And then we're gonna cover the 10. There's no other cost factor involved. And the 58,950 includes the labor to remove the material. I don't see that on.
Yes, yep, so, yeah, so that's the fifth, so what it was, how they kind of have this quote, the 58,950 was everything needed to remove the existing cover. Do the work to put the new trusses on, put the old cover back on. That was what was included with that, so that is, on that top part does have that non-prevailing labor wage and
Right.
equipment to install above materials, so.
But the cost to move the excess material out of the facility.
That will be done by us,
not
and we-
covered.
that will be covered, but that's not on.
It's just not.
That's,
That's not on
Separate.
Structures Unlimited claim, because that is gonna be the county submitting it to
That's all I
MCAT.
was curious.
Yep, so that's separate.
any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Approved. Brian, as long as we got you here. What does MCIT say about Ms. Franks?
Yes. Yeah, so, in this scenario, well, really anything, as long as we have all of our proper guarding on our equipment, that MCIT denies a claim because it's not out of negligence on our part, but then your rock being kicked up by a mower. So, if a rock did get out and our operator in this case does not know for sure if it happened or not, he didn't know about it until the day after. When I called him up and said, "Hey, what do you know about this window that got busted out of a car?" He didn't know what window or anything about it. But MCIT looks at that as being it's out of our control. It's out of their control when a rock gets away. If you have your proper guarding on, we're doing everything we can to prevent that from happening. So they deny the claims. And I spoke with Attorney Yant on this one, and I asked him, and he said it's not really a legal issue. It's a policy decision to be made by the board as far as covering this claim of a rock being kicked up by our mower, which could apply to other equipment or a dump truck or anything going on the roadway and stuff. So it's not a liability item. From a legal perspective, we have some protections from liability, and MCT is going to deny that claim every time. We've denied it a lot of times over the years. We haven't paid those claims. So he goes, so it's really a policy decision by the board. Do we want to, does county want to pay for, chip the windows or, windows being busted, if a rock does get kicked off from equipment? In this case, I'm not gonna, accept or deny that we did it. We don't know. If it did kick out from our mower, very well possibly could have happened. Yeah, I mean, I would feel bad to have them pay for that cost. But we don't know that it happened. We really didn't know it happened that day. So that's where it really comes down to policy decision by the county. When do we want to cover those claims? And then, having a good defined process kind of going forward. At what point do we pay and when don't we pay? So I know Attorney Yant would like to have that really defined if the board decides to agree to pay this claim.
The equipment had their safety guards on and everything seemed to be in order.
Yep, yeah, we have all the side.
And when she indicated, it happened right away, I took pictures of it. So, I mean, she has documentation that it was she and her piece of equipment are out there at the same time, at least too, right?
I have not seen the pictures.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
told there were some pictures taken, but
She indicated that she called Sheila. Did Sheila report that to you or pass that along?
so that's where, so it was I believe it was the next day she stopped by the office and talked to Sheila. Sheila talked to me, and then I talked to her operator. When I talked to our operator, that was the first we heard of it, was the day after when he was.
Well, I'm
out there
sure he
mowing.
didn't know.
So, yes, so he didn't know, and it's not negligence on his side, someone. What I kind of told at first is she thought it was like someone shot out a window. She didn't want to stop if someone's shooting a gun in the area. So I really don't know fully what happened. But yeah, ultimately she didn't stop to talk to the operator. Now, even if she did, and we know we did it, MCAT will still deny the claim because we have the guarding on our equipment. So
Okay.
it comes back to a policy decision at what point, if someone calls and says, we have our vehicle damaged, the county's liable. When do we pay it? We see that happen with our dump trucks quite a bit. Someone call and say, if we had an orange dump truck, well, what road were you on? Trying to find out where our trucks were located to see if it was us. Sometimes it's our truck, sometimes it's other, people hauling for the township or MnDOT, and
Well, what would how do you know? There could have been a kid in that backseat. And he could be dead today. We don't know when it's gonna fly out or anything. I mean, that's just.
Well, that'd be a whole different,
Yeah, it'd be a whole different ballgame, yeah. I'm thank God there was nobody in the car. That's all I got to say, because it would have been ugly. Yeah.
If she passed it, like she said, it would be consistent to hitting the passenger window. And what she says makes sense. Do you mow ditches? Before I mowed ditches for the township, and we've had claims that we had to pay the township level. Because with the guards in place, you just can't control that. But I would understand you're setting a kind of policy, but can't you have a policy where you review it on a case by case basis?
have we done that in the past?
the only time I'm aware that the county's ever paid for something like this was done at Wildcat when claims of rock shooting up while mowing down there a couple years ago. I don't know if that happening from our mower or any of our trucks. I don't know of any claim where the county has paid in the past.
Would this not be covered by comprehensive?
Who's
Or insurance? I mean,
should have liability?
comprehensive. Your comprehensive covers, if you're up watching the ball game and the fly ball comes out, she'll cover that. Would this not also be a?
Are you talking her insurance? I'm sure because it's a used, it's only 340.
Probably
It's under the deductible.
liability.
Yeah.
That $500,000 deductibles.
That's
I think I have 500.
If you had it, then you'd still pay your deductible. Let's see what level.
You got glass levels are endorsement if you wish to have them. That's the newest way of keeping the rates. But I look at it as a situation, if it was a windshield, then there could be some concern about tailgating and following too close. And in this case, going the opposite direction and hit the rear window, or the side window, sorry. It's not where placed or stuff, that defensive driving discussion we talked about. So it's a little bit different, I believe, than tailgating. Well, and then it was on the blacktop and he was mowing the side edge.
Is that a knife mower or a wood style blade mower?
This might be.
I believe it's a disc on the one he was in at the time.
Yeah, they threw.
Well,
Do you want to think on it?
we
or-
could. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what is that?
We could talk more about it in our discussion too here. Probably should move on to action items here.
One more question before, any idea when the highway department's gonna do the striping, the county roads, have they?
Yeah, but I believe all of our roads that are going to be striped are striped.
Oh, from the MnDOT. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yep, I believe that's all done now.
We'll move on to action item number 3, discussion and possible decision on the Wildcat reservations. Carol
Stay up here.
and Brian.
Holly and, yeah, just, you know, in general.
Okay.
So the park closed on the 25th. The night of the 25th, was it?
Believe so, yes.
7 p.m. on the 25th. So just to give you an idea, this is our reservation grid. Some of them are monthly, some of them are just for 3 days, some of them are 5 days. I think it was the consensus pretty much of the committee that any of the short-term reservations be refunded. We're not sure when the park is going to open. Do we want to decide a date when we would not open it before that, no matter what? So that we can make, you know,
Yeah, when we're looking at the Mississippi River stage forecast, it looks like the road is gonna have water over it going into the park until at a minimum a week from today. And then we're gonna have probably a day or two worth of cleanup once the water's down to really get stuff really functional, where we can have people in there to camp. So at best case scenario right now, it looks like the park is gonna be closed throughout this 4th of July week. And then more than likely the Thursday, July 12th.
11th.
so 11th or 12th.
11, yeah, maybe one of those days we'd be ready to open the park, assuming the river comes down. So the original projection when we closed the park a week ago is that the park was going to have a max crest on the Mississippi at 14.1. Now the crest is showing in 2 days it's going to be at 15.0. So that's all dependent on future rain. And the forecast is calling for 2 to 4 inches of rain throughout the vast majority of the Mississippi River Basin to the north of us over the next week. So I think our peak is going to probably stay about an inch higher than where it's at now, but how quickly it drops could very well slow down depending on how much rain we get to the north. So essentially what we're looking at is it's going to be 2 weeks or more worth of closures.
So does the board want to decide that we will not accept any reservations and all short-term refunds through July 11th be made, or do we just want to do Friday where it starts a weekend?
Why don't we shoot for the Friday?
It's just an official, the park is going to be closed until July 12th.
I think so. Like there's,
So I think,
and then we should add
And then-
also until further notice too. I mean, it might change. Sorry.
I don't think we would shorten that time frame. I think we would extend it or to be extended if necessary.
right.
July 12th
That's what I
to
thought.
Friday, so that gives them the weekend if it's available.
Right. And we'll cancel and refund
The short
the
term.
ones that aren't monthly, and there'll need to be some kind of discussion regarding the monthly. If based on the nightly rate, if they paid a monthly rate, if they stayed 9 days in the month, they've used their monthly rate that they paid. So, do we need to look at?
I think just do the reservations for now.
Mhm.
Guess we could maybe open up another week later in the fall.
Actually,
Just
that just came up yesterday. Someone did have a monthly reservation. They did ask for it to be extended into the next month for however many days they missed in the first
Mhm.
month. I just,
Can you do
That would be tough to do because they're gonna have someone else be on that same site for the next month or 2 weeks later.
Yeah, if it's reserved.
It just depends on each reservation.
Right.
Because some people have it,
Right.
and they'll be here at the end of September.
Yep.
So they could extend into October. If somebody, has one in August and there's no one in that site for the remainder of the days in August that they don't have, it could be extended. So it's going to be on a case-by-case basis for those.
Yep.
might have to shuffle them. I mean, they usually know, we have this site one, or A, or whatever I'll call it. For this group for 30 days and this group for 30 days, well. This first group may have to move or
If there's a
Vice versa.
site open, they could
Yeah.
move if they,
move to an open
they
site, that's a
preferred.
weekender type of site.
We wouldn't change someone who had a reservation to come in. It would have to be like if that person who wanted to extend their stay to make up for the days may have to move to a different site.
Or the other
Yeah,
option
that's a good idea.
on the monthly ones is prorating it, I mean, you should give half of those back. Is that-
Well, like I said, if they stayed 9 days, they made up the $60 a day.
You're right.
So for now, I guess I'd like to have it approved that we will close, not accept reservations and refund through July 12th. Or through July 11th,
Starting accepting reservations for that Friday night.
right?
I'll make that a motion. Is there a second to that?
Second,
Any further discussion?
I guess just to make a note that it may be extended if needed,
Right.
and that so that we're aware that. if- Who knows, if we get another hard rain upstream. It may have to be adjusted again.
Mhm.
So. The people that have made reservations for the nightly. And paid in
refunded.
advance, we're sending them their money.
Yep.
The people that are. Weekly,
We don't have a weekly rate.
we don't have a weekly rate. So
Nightly and monthly.
It's nightly and monthly. And the monthly ones, we're not sending the money back, we're allowing them to stay. The number of days missed because of closure into the following month
If it's feasible.
Mhm.
on the same sites, and somebody else that's got it reserved has to move to a different site.
And it's not necessarily just, like the month of July. Some people have reserved from June 19th to July 18th. So it's not, it's not
Count.
just a calendar month that they have reserved. So that's why I say it on a case by case basis, we'd have to look and see
Yep.
what's available for them to extend their stay on that site or move to a different site.
So have we also talked to the park manager with regard to this?
Yeah.
And his opinion or their opinion?
Well, there's not much you can do about it.
Just curious. I mean, his big worry is people. Also an income situation. But
Mhm.
the managers.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
probably have to take a look at it down the road as we progress through.
Yeah, he's very disappointed with lost revenue, but he also understands that
You can't
It's out
provide
of
the
his
service, you
control.
can't charge people for something they
Yep.
can't use. So,
this is the first time it's happened since 1993 and. Yeah, second time
In the
history
middle of
park
the
in the middle of the
season.
summer, yeah, so.
And one lady that I talked to said, yeah, I remember one 4th of July when there was actually water up to the rocks, but we were still able to camp. So,
Well, we're not the only one.
no,
Several wrongs.
so motion's been made, second, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor,
Second.
I was the second.
Oh.
is, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right,
Opposed, same sign. All right,
and I guess the next thing was just a discussion and possible allocation of ARPA dollars in the solid waste department. I had a brief discussion with Martin and then Holly asked about it. They have 3 cover tops that need to be replaced. One of them they can't even use anymore. We don't have a budget, and I was just thinking maybe this could be an ARPA at least for 1 or 2 of them, and then get the other one into a rotation of a capital equipment replacement. They run about $15,000 each,
so 30,000,
would be what I would be asking.
that's fine,
3 or 2.
2.
2 for now and get 1 into a rotation.
So then where will that leave us for amount left?
Well, it depends on what it comes in for John and that. new system because that doesn't include any data conversion. But I would say we still have probably at least $150,000 left. And the $100,000 from the local.
There you go.
So does someone want to make that a motion to utilize ARPA funds to cover the cost of 2 covered bins? You call that
They call them cover tops.
cover tops, better than for recycling. Yeah.
I'll make that a motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay,
Where was the 100 from?
The 100,000 is that
Extra thing.
local,
the tribal
LAC.
thing that it's not really.
What? it's local community / tribal fund
Yeah.
allocation. LACTF or I believe
It's
it's,
that money that grows on trees, you know, they send them home.
Yeah.
That's the money off their campus.
and there was some new guidance issued yesterday regarding, the whole committing the ARPA funds and actually when you have to spend them. I haven't had a chance to read it, but
Okay.
it was issued yesterday.
All right. Number 5, consider reviewing and approving payments. You've seen the list on the packet of the payments to be approved for. Is there any questions about those? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I see that Sir Lancelot had oh, that was a side thing. Okay. I can't remember that now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one that I have.
I'll make a motion to approve the commissioner's warrants.
Is there a second?
Also move.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Payments approved. Moving on to discussion items. I don't have much to bring except, I've got a copy of a job description for the interim administrator position. If we were to do a search for that, I'll share that with you guys today when I get it. I'll email that to you. Have you guys look at it, see what you think. We could always, we gotta tweak it, of course, but. And it's something we need to move forward with sooner rather than later.
Agreed.
I believe so.
I would appreciate seeing that. Yep.
That's all I got. Greg, what do you got?
I haven't had any meetings that I can, nothing important, I guess. That's, so I ain't got nothing right now. Good, yeah, everything last week, pretty much.
I didn't have any extra meetings. Oops. Yeah. Commissioner Burns?
I went to Rushford for the Minnesota Department of Health community meeting with regard to nitrates and wells and other contaminants that they had and whatnot. It was reasonably attended. I think there was 35, 40 people that were sitting and listening to the different avenues and different aspects of what they're going to do, what their plan is, how moving forward, what they're going to do. The gal that gave the speech when we went to the joint board meeting with Fillmore County was the same person that headed up this meeting as well. And it was interesting. Paperwork, I mean, it's a pretty good stack. Or the paperwork if you want to read everything. But it was interesting in talking about people's responsibilities to get their wells tested is what, rather than trying to find them on our own, that people would come forward. And the cost is basically covered, so. Anyway, that was that. I went to the airport breakfast the other day, Sunday morning, and very well attended. They served like 700 breakfasts. Ran out of sausage, ran out of bacon. But they had like, Andy said, I think it was 70 planes that came to the breakfast and visited, a couple of twin engine helicopter when the helicopters came in. So it was really well attended and some cool planes that I saw. The other thing I have is I received a letter from Mark Pedretti from La Crescent asking to revisit the West Channel no wake denial with a lot of issues and things that they brought up. It was Bart, not Mark. And I will forward that to you all, so you can see that what he has to say about it.
He sent me one too.
Oh, you got one too. I don't know if anybody.
I got one from a different person. Oh, Bart Pedretti.
Bart,
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the one I got.
Yep. So I don't have to send that. You all had that. So
I did respond to him. I said I didn't think we were gonna revisit it the third time. I said, but it doesn't stop them from, as a community, to do something on their own as far as installing buoys themselves and policing it themselves, which they do in Lawrence Lake and other places, so.
you've all seen the letters. That's all.
Right.
That's all I've got.
Do we?
I had no meetings, also got the one from Mr. Petretti. Just somebody even asked me, can we put a speed bump on County 29 North Town there? And I said, I don't think so. People come by the house there, that's 50 miles an hour.
Where?
North end of La Crescent on County 29.
Oh,
I'm done now.
Yep.
They come like
Mhm.
crazy.
Trying to get off of Jonathan on the road there is not safe, so a speed bump would help.
You need a roundabout.
how did that meeting go?
Oh, dumb.
You already approved
No
the
meeting.
grant money?
They haven't got the grant money. The grant money, I'm told, is approved, but it is not. I mean, you aren't gonna get it until the project.
So is the Minnesota DOT going to put in that road between the school and 76?
Not at the present time.
Hmm.
That LRIP money went to.
I know, but
Ryan's-
when could you? The city could lobby, I suppose the county could lobby too, to make that an agreement with DOT if you're gonna put a roundabout in to have another access.
It would be the detour.
Right.
Now the detour would be County 20 over to a gravel road down to County 3 and back.
We
Ryan
used the
said-
old
Ryan-
road. Remember the old road used to go through woods there?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, take down that wild turkey sign and just extend it up the hill.
Yeah.
Hard to know where it's gonna be though, because they're cutting the hill down, making it steeper, so you can come into a flat round.
They are. Well,
That's
that's
a fact.
gonna be a big project.
Ooh, I thought 5 million.
Okay, if we're into this, here it is. You're coming up to the roundabout, it's gotta be fairly flat, so
Yeah.
we're gonna take and start up by S Drive and cut that whole bank down. Current rate is 4.5%, it's gonna be about 5.5 to 6% coming down into the roundabout to flatten out. And then there has to be, both roads that come into it has to have a little dip in it, and then come up to the roundabout, so drainage, for the drainage purposes around the. And then they talk about the 17 accidents in 10 years. Oh, 17 accidents, 10 years, 2 of them are slide offs into the ditch because it's slippery. 2 of them are front to rear, because somebody wasn't paying attention or slid into the car in front of them, one or the other. 2 of them were side swipes. So somebody that was making the corner from 76 to whatever, whichever way they were turning, they turned into the front end of the car that was waiting. So actually, there's only 11 accidents in 10 years. 1.1 doesn't seem to me to make it the 36th or 37th worst intersection in the state. But and $5 million 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they do the project. I'm pretty sure it's gonna cost more than $5 million. My opinion. Hence it goes back to the term dumb.
Every Sunday I put a Jake brakes on and there will be nobody sleeping.
Because there's no houses close by, so you have to listen to the phone. Okay.
Dewey, what do you got?
No meetings.
Meetings? Okay. I guess that does it for commissioner reports and comments. Any further other comments?
Are you gonna do public comment before we go to closed session?
Yeah, is there a closing public comment anybody would like to make? If not, I guess we could go into closed session. Is there a motion to go into closed session pursuant to section Minnesota statute 13D03?
Make that a motion that we go into closed session for labor negotiations. 13D.03 subdivision.
Is there a motion made, second, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. All right, we're in the close.